Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'd like to welcome you to part 3 of this series of videos. Now, my intention is to give you the absolute best information that you can acquire from people who have done this for many years. Okay, and the idea is so that once you have the knowledge that you need, you will be able to grow this business opportunity to very great heights and great lengths. Now, we're going to show you the art of what I call forensic networking, and we're going to be looking at that in more details today. Most people would call it leveraging, but it's more than just leveraging. We have to understand exactly what we're leveraging specifically, and that I'm going to cover in this part 3 of the series. Now, what I'm showing you right here is the website where you can definitely save it to your home screen, and I'll cover that in just a moment. As well as at the bottom of here, you would be able to log into a live webinar when we do have a live webinar. Currently, we have it at 10 p.m. Eastern time. But of course, once you save this site to your computer or to your cell phone, you would be able to be updated in terms of what, when the times of the webinar are going to be. And of course, this just has some fun photographs right here. Once you have achieved some level of financial independence or success, you might be able to take a beautiful vacation in the Caribbean. Of course, some people, they want to change their vehicles, etc. Other people may have bigger dreams of perhaps traveling to far off lands, or perhaps being able to acquire a decent home where they can plan for their future. All right, so today I'm going to look very quickly at this opportunity that we have right here with Zmartbit. And with Zmartbit, it's an opportunity to acquire as much Bitcoins as you possibly can through a piece of software. Now, I'm not going to go over everything in detail. I'd like to make this video very short. But suffice it to say that you can refer back to part 1 and part 2 in order to get more details. Now, of course, you would want to bookmark the website of zmartbit.com with a Z. Okay, so if you go on your mobile phone, which we're going to be concentrating on, you want to be able to perhaps just click on these 3 icons at the top and then add it to your home screen. And what you'd end up with is a little icon that looks something like this. Okay, and obviously by just tapping on it, it's going to take you right to that page. Now, as well, you can go to this website and also save this to your home screen. It's the one we were just looking at. So it's https://zmartsoftware.now.site. And you can put /home if you wish as well. Now, once you get here, same thing. You can click on this icon and then add it to your home screen. It will just allow you to be able to go quickly to the page so you can log into your back office. So it ended up looking something like this as well. Okay, so by tapping it, you have the mobile device in your hand at all times, and you can easily access and get into your back office. I also suggest that you log in to your back office at least once a day, right, just to see if you need to upgrade, etc., because the software will prompt you to do that. Now, so for those of you who might be looking at this for the first time and perhaps didn't see the video 1 or 2, even though I'm not going to go through in details what we covered in part 1 or 2, this Zmartbit software, the cost of it is $260 USD paid in BTC. Again, I stress that it is not in US dollars. It is in the equivalent of US dollars in Bitcoin. $10 go towards the software developers. The other $250 is split into 2, where 2 different people would get paid. What you get for that is not just a software license, but you get the education of the Proto University. And of course, as we have it right now as December of 2019, that library will continue to build. So of course, I'm sure you've watched other videos on YouTube or online, etc., and you've got quite a good knowledge. Today, I'm going to be discussing something a little bit more direct, okay, giving you the information that you need that's time tested and through. For the last 50 years since this idea of referral marketing started, we have gathered quite a great deal of experience. So I'm going to teach you, give you all the ingredients that you need in order to grow your opportunity. Now, what you're looking at here is, of course, once you click on the link that whoever sent you this video and you register and you click on purchase, this would be your QR code, looks something like this, that you simply point your phone at, of course, and pay that amount that it's asking. And again, it's important to note that type in the BTC value and not the 260 USD. The system seems to work and function much better if you use the BTC value, whatever that is. It might be 0.3, whatever that is. Make sure you type it in. I wouldn't even copy and paste it. Just type it in. Make sure you have it correctly before you hit that, that button to make the payment. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about is leverage. Now, a lot of people looking at this for the first time, perhaps with no referral network experience at all, would look at this and the very first thing that comes to mind, oh, I know what this is. This is some kind of pyramid scheme. They have no idea what they're talking about. So let me educate you a little bit. Okay, now in this particular example, let's use the Zmartbit system the way it's designed. This is you. It starts from you. This is simply your point of view. Okay, from where you started. You're the one that's sharing your link. These 4 people here that are going to click on your link and join you, obviously, it's going to be attached to you, right? That's very obvious and very simple and straightforward. Okay, so when they purchase their license, who would you wish to get paid? Would you want you to be paid or would you want somebody else to be paid, right? Obviously, you want you to be paid. This is the way that the system keeps track of that payment. Okay, so simply put, when someone purchases a license, you get paid, it goes directly into your wallet. And of course, you've seen part 2, and that really explained a lot of that. So I'm not going to go into that in great detail because that's not what I want to be talking to you about today. Now, if I snap my finger like that, and I said to you that what you're now looking at is an organizational chart of your government. Now, if your government organization has a prime minister, now who is this person? It's obvious. That's your prime minister. And is that you? Absolutely not. Okay. This would be the cabinet minister, the second in the command, third in command, fourth, etc. Okay. In terms of the chain of command, this would be the line of government, right? Whether it's parliamentary or whatever. This would probably, if you have a prime minister, it would be provincial government, and then you'll have your city governments, etc. In fact, you're not even on this chart. Okay. But let's say that you were looking at it from this as your prime minister and this being the taxpayers, then it's quite obvious who these people are. These are the people that pay taxes, right? And that's how your government acquires the money that they need to do what they need to in terms of government services. Now, if I snap my finger again and you had a president, who would this person be? Quite obvious. That will be your president. There is only one, right? Person can be the president at one time, okay? Then, of course, this would be second in command, which would be perhaps the vice president, and then the third in command, which you would know, et cetera, all right? So that would be on the government side of the equation. Now, if I snap my finger one more time, and I said you are now looking at a church organization, who would this person be? Quite obvious. This would be your pastor, wouldn't it? Right? And of course, whoever is second, third, fourth in command, etc. And you'll have all the congregation members. So regardless to how you look at this chart, this organizational chart, once you put it on paper, it is quite obvious what it will look like. But you will say, okay, well, and you're just playing with words or whatever. Okay, let's look at Snap again one more time. This time it's your family. And most people say, oh, it's a family tree. Well, the truth is it doesn't look like a tree at all. Okay, because if this is you and you started your family, right, and you had 4 children and they had children, etc., it would look exactly like this. Okay, so if you're going to go backwards as an example, let's say you started here and that's you, then that would be generation before, the generation before, the generation before, and then this would be perhaps your great, 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 great-grandfather, wouldn't it? Right? Or great-great-great-great-grandmother. So it doesn't matter how you put it on paper. Once you start from a particular point of view, you will see that clearly how the generations set up, especially if you're just using a simple number as 4. Okay, so that too is quite obvious. But let's look at something that's more practical, let's say, and that's related to business. Okay, so this is you, and you went to see a favorite movie, really great movie. You really enjoyed the movie a lot, and you told 4 friends, 1, 2, 3, 4, hey, this is a great movie. You should go have a look at it. You know, I wouldn't give away the plot. It's so fantastic. Okay, so you send 4 of your friends to watch that movie. They agreed with you. It was a good movie. So they told 4 of their friends. Now, simple math would say 4 times 4 would be what? 16, obviously, right? I'm going to ask you a very simple question. How much did you get paid to do that? Oh, I think I can hear it from this at 0, right? Okay. Well, maybe that's a one-off. Well, what about sending someone to a favorite restaurant? How much did you get paid for that? 0? Okay, I thought so. How about gas station, hotel? Just about everything. All of us have referred somebody to something at some time. In fact, we do it practically every day without even thinking about it. In this system, it's simply a way of keeping track of what you've done. So regardless to how you look at things, okay, they will be a beginning point. So let's say this was humanity as an example, right? Who would this be? If you're a religious person, you would know who that is. That would be Almighty God himself, the creator of all things. It has to start somewhere. And if it started with him, then obviously everything else would have started from one central point. Okay, so of course, you get the picture by now. So now at least you're more educated into the actual organization in terms of where things start and having a point. Now let's look at it. Most people think, oh, this is a pyramid. If you look at the structure, obviously it's a pyramid in Egypt. It's thousands of years old. It's one of the strongest buildings or structures ever. It's still around to tell the story. And you can see that it's weather beaten over time, you know, with the sands and the storms and everything that blow at it, but yet it's still here. Why? Because you can just look at it and see that it is a very strong structure, right? So it makes sense if you were to copy that idea in order to be able to create an income source out of it, okay? So here you are, and let's look at what we do currently. Now, most of us, we have a job in some kind of field, and I'm not saying you should quit your job, or not everybody that, you know, do not like their jobs. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that this system that we're doing currently, you're using a system of receiving income from the 1800s. This is from the manufacturing era. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but we're in the 20th century. Okay, so we're going to show you how you can use 20th century technology rather than just 18th century technology. Now, if you love your job, great, fantastic, right? At the same time, you can also employ a 21st century or 20th century technology to be able to leverage and create another stream of income. So regardless to where you are, you can absolutely do this. Now, most people, they go to work, they get a paycheck, right? Whether it's weekly, monthly, or whatever. And I'm sure you probably hear these words, oh, you are so lucky to have a job, says the big boss, right? Now, that may be great, right? You should probably start here, but I would never suggest that you end in this position because this is, like I said, 18th century technology and times have changed. In fact, times have changed very greatly. Because if this were ever happened to you, where the boss says, you're fired, what happens to that one paycheck that you depend on? Now you have to start over. What if you're starting over 40, 50 years later? Not so good, is it? Okay, so rather than wait until this happens, you can take preventative measures. So in case this should happen to you, then you would have already started to plant some seeds that can grow in the right direction. So we're using this type of system, guys, manufacturing back in the 18th century. What about this one? What does this look like? Looks like a pyramid structure to you? Absolutely. Now, there's nothing wrong with the pyramid structure, as I showed you. It has to start from someplace. Now, looking at this, if we take three of the largest companies today, let's just take two of them. Let's say Microsoft and Amazon. Both were started in a technological era, 20th century. Okay, and at one time, they looked at an opportunity, started it up, and now today, of course, they are successful. I mean, Amazon started by just selling books online. Today, it's one of the biggest companies, and the owner and CEO is one of the wealthiest men in the world. Okay, so let's look at the structure. We have the hardworking employees right here with virtually zero chance of becoming the CEO. Then you answer to leaders or a supervisor who answer to the middle managers, answer to the vice president, the president, and finally the CEO. Now, like I said, there's nothing wrong with this structure, except if you are here and you're just trading time for money, that's 100% in the hands of the corporation that you work for. Anything happens to your paycheck, and that's it. You mean you're going to have to look for another corporation which has exactly the same structure. What we're proposing is that you do something a little bit different. Okay, so this is the hardworking paycheck. What if we can create the same thing, but without the need for 100% dependent on yourself? And you will see what I'm talking about by the time I finish this presentation. Now, here's the 1800s. We have the agricultural and the manufacturing era. We have the industrial age. And now the 20th century, which is a technological era, right, where cell phones and smart technology is the company of today. So every one of us have this little device right here in our hands. It's called a smartphone, right? A cell phone, a tablet, some connected device. And all of us have this. What about if I can show you how we can use this to create a better way for ourselves in terms of an income? And again, you don't have to give up currently what you're doing. You're just starting and planting some seeds online that has global reach, okay, global ability. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. Now, the first principle that we can use is called time leverage. Every one of us has 24 hours in one day. Both the rich man and the poor man has exactly the same amount of time. Rich man doesn't have a minute more than 24 hours in one day. But what the wealthy man understands very clearly is how to leverage time, right? In fact, J. Paul Getty, one of the wealthiest men in his book, How to Be Rich, says that he would rather have 1% of the effort of 100 people than 100% of his own effort. Simply put, it means instead of him going to work every day and depending on one single paycheck for 40 hours, 50 hours, whatever, he would much rather 1% of the effort of 100 people. So if you put that into a dollar amount, let's say 1% of $100 was $1, and you earn $1 per person times 100. If he didn't get up out of bed that day, he'll still make $100. So let's learn how we can do that. So if we take time, in this particular case, let's say just 1 hour a day, everyone will work just 1 hour a day. And we use what I call a time sharing. Okay, now we have a lot of sharing technology. Some people call it time leverage, means the same thing. Okay, so in this example, we have Bitcoin King, which is a username of someone who purchased your user license from you, right? And you were able to earn a commission. In this case, from the 260, you make 125. That's pretty good. Now that's about 124 times more than what J. Paul Getty would have settled for, which is fantastic. Okay, now same here, same here, same here. So we're talking about time. So let's just look at the time factor. So here you're able to gain 4 hours, everyone working just 1 hour a day. All right, now 4 times 4 is 16, which is right here. You're benefiting from sharing 16 hours per day from 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So now you're up to 20 between these two rows right here, leveraging time. Okay, now these 16, if they have their 4 licenses sold, and of course there's 4 people behind it with cell phones in their hand that's perhaps do them posted online, etc., that's 32 hours. So if you do the math, 32, 30, let's say, plus 10, that's 40, 46, 47, 48, right? 49, 50, 51, 52. So between these 3 rows right here, you have 52 hours of work. Okay, 24 times 2 is 48. That's more than 2 days worth of work by just sharing time. everyone working 1 hour a day, simply sending their link out, perhaps sharing this particular video so they can educate people on the concept of time leveraging or time sharing. Well, not only are you leveraging your time, you're also leveraging a little bit of seed capital. So you're planting your seed, $260 USD in BTC. That's your seed capital. There's a reason they call it seed capital. Because seed capital, when you plant it in the right place, in the right soil, it grows, right? So we could see mathematically how this is coming together very, very nicely. Now, what else can we leverage what we have? We can also leverage this device right here that I was talking about. Every one of us, practically almost everyone in the world has one of these devices. Okay, some people even have two or more. So what if we can leverage time? We can leverage a little bit of seed capital. We can leverage the cell phone and the skill set of all these individuals here. What happens then? It gives you a much, much better chance in order to succeed. And not only are we leveraging that, but we're also going to leverage knowledge through the Crypto University. Because right now we're starting with teaching you about Bitcoin and how you can, understand and learn how to use this new currency. But more importantly than that, moving forward, there would be other products and services and other knowledge that you would gain as a result of watching videos like this. So it would enlighten you and open your mind a little bit as to how this actually works. So this just shows a little example of what we were talking about before. We have Juan right here. And Marisol bought one user license. Okay, the 260, $10 went to the software developers. 125 went to Juan, and of course 125 went to his upline, which I think in this case is Maria. Okay, now same thing here. On the second, so we have four. We have Marisol, Ayanda, Edwards, and Jacques. Okay, so all of these guys who purchased their license, software license, and then they sold 4 licenses each. So if you do the math, obviously you will see that this is very, very successful model. So we see here this person that bought it from Marisol, she got paid 125, and so did Juan. Okay, so that's not bad. Way, way more than J. Paul Getty would have settled for. So if you do the math, you'll see that the total amount is $2,000 once all of them is complete. All right, so obviously that gives you enough money in your BTC wallet so you can move forward to the next stage. But there's something else that's leveraged here that you may or may not see right off the bat. You're also leveraging, okay, I'm gonna give you 2 seconds or 5 seconds to figure it out. 1,000, 3, 4, 5. Yes, some of you might have seen it right away. You are also leveraging countries. Marisol happens to be Filipino. She lives in the Philippines. Ayanda, she lives in Africa. Edward lives in the UK. Jacques lives in France. So guys, what are you also leveraging? Not only are you leveraging countries, but you're literally leveraging time zones as well, because almost everyone here lives in a different time zone. And if you add a country like Australia, which happens to be on the other side of the world, if you live in North America, you're now leveraging a full 24 hours, which means that your business is not just global, but it's also working 24 hours a day, which means while you're sleeping, you're also getting paid. And what more can you want from a business that allows you to start up with such a small amount of seed capital where you're gaining 50% of what comes in? So guys, just like these plans, you're going to set it to grow. And by giving you the information that you need in terms of leverage, you can now appreciate the fact that this opportunity, this software that's just 3 months, but what is it, about a month or so, not even, into December of 2019, depending on when you're watching or hearing this video, then it doesn't matter what it's now or 6 months or a year from now. Obviously, by being able to put this into place, you can change your financial future. So of course, here we see all the different ranks when you help your people to progress. In fact, the system will prompt them to do that. The first rank is blanco or white, verde, amarillo, naranja, right, blue, etc., all the way to platino. So it shows you right on this side as you advance through the levels, because you would have already acquired that BTC in your wallet, you're now entitled to receive 50% of whatever is being paid here. As you see, 50% of 500, of 1,000, of 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, 50% of that all the way up. And what if you did it once a month or twice a month? What if you did once a month on each? Then it's up to you. Once you understand what's exactly this opportunity is offering you, and now you have the knowledge in just a few minutes of leverage on what that really means. So the next time someone talks to you about pyramid, they really don't have a clue of what they're talking about. Refer them back to the video so that you don't have to waste your time doing an explanation. Okay, so let them get some real knowledge and show them how they can use this moving forward. So get back to the person that invited you to watch this video. Ask them for their link to join. They might have already sent it to you by email. They might have sent it to you by WhatsApp or Messenger or whatever means. Definitely give them a call. Get the link to join and join now. This is Wayne. Again, hopefully this information would be useful to you. So definitely make use of it. So